At the time of recording this, Ohio State absolutely waxed Villanova yesterday in college basketball. And having watched the game as an Ohio State fan, I was a GA there last year, I wanted to download it and do more of a statistical and video analytical breakdown of the game to see why Ohio State was so dominant. So here is my completed timeline. I've got two position rows for Ohio State offense and Ohio State defense. I then got Ohio State team stats, Villanova team stats, and then individual for Ohio State team stats. Now, all these video clips here were produced by my code window. Now, if you want to see what that code window looks like or want to purchase it, there are links to both in the description below. But first, I'm going to look at some numbers. Here is my output window, which you can also purchase. Also links in the description, also video walkthrough in the description. Now, there are some pretty key numbers here to why Ohio State was so dominant, though the most obvious one is shooting. Now, Ohio State was 56.3% from three-point land, while Villanova was only 32%. That was also weighed by some great individual performances from Ohio State, mainly Dwayne Washington, who was 4 from 6 for 66.7%, and Luther Muhammad, who was 2 from 2 for 100%. Also, in terms of points, Ohio State had 5 players in double digits. And if we go into the advanced box score here, we had all players at Ohio State in positive plus minus, so plus 18, plus 13, plus 19, plus 23, plus 17, plus 24, plus 11. So it was a very much an overall dominant Ohio State performance. Now if we look at the shooting charts, so we go Ohio State, then execute, we see a lot of green rectangles. So 4 from 5 at the top of the perimeter, 2 from 3 from the left corner, and 2 from 4 from the right corner. In terms of shot types, we got 7 from 13 at catch and shoot, 8 from 12 in the post up, and 4 from 6 in off the dribble opportunities. Now when we swapped over to Villanova, all these green rectangles you see are going to switch to red. So we click Villanova and then execute. And here you're going to see a lot of red rectangles and a lot of OFAs. So we've got 0 for 3, 0 for 4, 0 for 2, 0 for 3, 4 from 15 for only 26.7% at the top of the perimeter, 10 for 28 in catch and shoot opportunities for 35.7%, and those are usually 3-point shots, 1 for 6 on post-ups, and 0 for 11 off the dribble shots. So that's very positive if you're an Ohio State fan. Now anyone who watched this game would know that the game was won and lost in the first quarter. So if we go back to Ohio State and then click first quarter, then execute, we're seeing that there's 12 for 16 from field goals. That includes 7 from 7 from 2-point shots, and then 5 from 9 for 3-point shots, and 31 points, which in a college basketball game is a lot in the first quarter of a game. Now I know college basketball is usually done in wars or 4-minute wars, or those timeout stoppages, but I just did it in quarters for this game for a larger sample size. And if we go over to Villanova, we can see a drastic difference in the first quarter performance. Villanova and then execute. We have 3 from 12 for 25% from overall field goals, and 2 from 7 for 28.6% from 3-point range. That's only 10 points, so already Ohio State had a 21-point lead before the game really even started. Now I'm going to look at some video clips. I'm just going to quit out of my output window. So I've got my organizer here. I'm just going to hide the sidebar. Now I've got 5 rows here that are really going to show how I thought Ohio State won this game on offense and how Villanova lost this game. Now, a lot of that damage was done in the first quarter when Ohio State ran back-to-back plays for wide open 3-point shots for Dwayne Washington. So we're going to go full screen. Now to really set up these 2 clips, you've got to really explain that Caleb Wesson is one of the best big men in the Big Ten. Certainly one of the most recognizable, and that's because he's got such a big presence, he's got a big frame, and he's really strong around the basket. So going into this game, Villanova thought that their game plan would be to shut down Caleb Wesson and they would win the game. So that's really going to set up how this works. So there's a lot of ball movement to begin with, and it ends up with CJ Walker getting screened for by Caleb Wesson. Now, as I said, Caleb Wesson's going to attract a lot of attention. So as he rolls to the basket, this man from the wing here is going to correctly assume that this ball is not going to be able to get over here, so he shuts down on Caleb Wesson so he doesn't get an easy alley-oop or easy dump-off for a basket just under the rim. However, CJ Walker does a good job of finding Dwayne Washington for the open 3-point shot, and they nail the 3-point shot. So just back to the start, ball movement, screen by Caleb Wesson, drive by CJ Walker, finds Dwayne Washington, easy 3-point shot. Now they run the exact same play, the exact next possession, ball movement, screen by Caleb Wesson, rolls to the basket, CJ Walker finds Dwayne Washington for the wide open 3-point shot, and he nails it. So that really set up their offense for the rest of the game, and now Villanova had all this defensive anxiety about what Ohio State could do from the perimeter. We go to the second half. This is the very first play of the second half. So we start off. Now look at Dwayne Washington here starting under the basket. Now remember, he's been hot this entire game. As I said, he finishes 4 for 6 from 3-point shots, so Villanova's got that in mind. And when he flies out to the perimeter from under the basket, not only does that defense attract the attention of Villanova defenders, but it leaves a wide open gap under the basket. This creates an incredible opportunity for Kyle Young for the alley-oop. And that's set up because of 1, that Dwayne Washington attention, and 2, because of that great cut there by Kyle Young for an easy alley-oop. They also ran another play in this game a couple times to much success. I don't really know what it's called, so I've just named it Pistons. Again, this is early in the first war, in the first half. Kyle Young would set a screen. Caleb Wesson sets another screen. And again, because of Caleb Wesson's significant as a player, and because he's going to attract so much attention, that creates wide open driving lanes for CJ Walker. And though it's an athletic finish, that initial momentum push is able to be created because there's so much focus on Caleb Wesson. Later in the first half, they run the exact same play. Kyle Young, Caleb Wesson sets a screen, and again that creates a big driving lane. Mainly here because Kyle Young scares this player here, but also because the other thing you can notice from this play is that this defender here, who should be around here guarding this drive, he's so concerned about Dwayne Washington's 3-point shooting that he ducks in and then realizes, oh no, I can't leave him open, comes back out, leaving CJ Walker the easy, well not easy, it was very athletic, but play at the rim for the 2-point shot. So that's both here. Kyle Young's drawing this player away because he's a dominant finisher around the rim, as well as Dwayne Washington here being hot from 3 and scaring this defender off, making sure that he can't interrupt the drive. The other thing Ohio State did really well in this game was passing into big men like Caleb Wesson. As I said, Caleb Wesson's a really good player, attracts a lot of attention, but also because Ohio State was so hot from 3 that he was able to be only just singled in the post and have a lot of opportunities there. So here's this play. He comes out to Luther Muhammad. Now you'll see there's shooters on Dwayne Washington here and on CJ Walker here. If it was a real pack line defense, they'd probably want to be closer here to the paint. But because they're so fearful of that shooting, they've got to stick to their men out here. That leaves wide open spaces under the rim. So when you get a really good pass like this to Caleb Wesson, he's late coming across. Caleb Wesson can dupe him and dunk right on his head. Same thing later in the half. Comes out to EJ Liddell. And again, you see your shooters over here on CJ Walker and DJ Carden, leaving massive gaps here under the rim for his great pass here by Liddell to Caleb Wesson, who does have to athletically finish over 2 Villanova players, but again, he was able to get the ball in the first place because of that scare of, well, they're just scared of, the shooters, as well as the fact that he was just really good body position, great pass, and a good finish. Now, the other reason Ohio State did really well in this game, and I've just kind of put it here as cooking folks, is because they've got really good players. Now, DJ Carden's probably one of the best freshmen in the country, and that's because he's got incredible handles and incredible basketball IQ. So, man, they were just out here cooking folks. As you can see here, really good dribbling, turns him around, comes out, fakes the finish, finds a wide open shooter, and Luther Muhammad gets one of his 2 3-point shots. As I said, he was 2 for 2 for 100%. Mainly set up by DJ Carden here. Just absolutely, there we go. DJ Carden absolutely just cooking this guy out here on the perimeter. The other one was CJ Walker. He's a veteran, transferred from transferred from Florida State to Ohio State. And again, he's just out here cooking folks. Turns him around, flips through us between his leg, finds the open shooter on the perimeter, EJ Liddell, swishes it in from the right corner, and Ohio State at this point is up by soon to be 24 points. So that's how Ohio State won, through the numbers and also through the video. If you want to see any of the output windows or code windows, or want to purchase any of the code or output windows seen in this video, there are links to all those things in the description, as well as my email if you have any questions. Hope you learned something, and thank you very much.